Renumeration versus remuneration, reimbursed financially, which is correct? For my entire life, I thought the correct word was remuneration. But after reading a document that used remuneration, I checked Google and apparently I was wrong. The Oxford Dictionary has a link to remuneration under the entry for remuneration, but it neglects to say why. Are they both interchangeable? I live in the UK, if it is a regional thing.
Well, my dictionary defines remuneration as misspelling of remuneration.
According to the OED, remuneration and remuneration are interchangeable. So too are the associated verbs, remunerate and remunerate. However, some commentators have strong feelings about remuneration being used with its first-cited meaning, i.e. remuneration, see below, to be avoided at all costs is the metaphysized form remuneration. R.W. Birchfield New Fowler's Mod. ENG. Usage, 1996, is 666E2. Remuneration is much more commonly used than remuneration, this URL. Remuneration is first cited c. 1400, comes from Middle French, remuneration, and Latin, remunere, and means reward, recompense, now usually, money paid for work or a service, payment, pay. Continuously since the mid-16th century, remuneration and remunerate have been used with the same meaning as remuneration and remunerate. Since 1596, remuneration has also meant the action or an instance of numbering or enumerating again. This is widely held to be its primary meaning. The OED suggests that remuneration with the meaning of remuneration is a variant by metathesis, this URL, arising from a folk etymological association with words in number dash.
When I started looking into this, I absolutely thought it was remuneration. Turns out remuneration is way more popular. The OED website has the first recorded use of remuneration at circa 1400 and of remuneration over 150 years later. There is noted controversy over the use of remuneration, but only from a single source, listed by Dan above. Given that remuneration is used more than 100 times more frequently in literature than remuneration, according to Ngram, linked above, I would say that answers your question. It also has a more logical etymological root, coming from the Latin remuneratio, meaning the same. Remuneration appears to lack any etymological root other than, probably formed via metathesis from, remuneration. It's going to take an awful long time for me to get used to it though.
Keep in mind that any uses of these words that we find from ca 1500 were originally written out in longhand by the author, who may or may not have had good handwriting, then typeset by a printer who may or may not have been very good at spelling. Consider what a remuneration would look like in slightly loopy longhand and tell me that a typesetter unfamiliar with the word would get it set correctly, every time. Looking through old books with Ngram, I have on a number of occasions seen obvious spelling errors. Remuneration, when it should be remuneration, is simply a less obvious spelling error.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.